Welcome to the Development Lifecycle with Oracle JDeveloper 11G demonstration. My name is Dana Singletary and I'm a member of the Oracle JDeveloper team. In this demonstration I will cover features of JDeveloper 11G that is part of the application development lifecycle of enterprise applications, including designing, coding, debugging, testing, tuning, building your application using Ant and Maven, deploying your application, as well as Oracle's Team Productivity Center. This slide illustrates the full lifecycle support provided by Oracle JDeveloper. So to begin, let's take a look at designing your applications. Oracle JDeveloper supports the creation of the most commonly used UML diagrams, including use case, sequence, activity, and class diagrams, as well as corresponding documentation for each one of these. And as you can see here, it's very easy to work with the various properties on these diagrams, as well as to extend them via the component palette. Your database designers can create new database objects and extend existing database objects, as well as implementations including both forward and reverse engineering into and from the database, either via a connected or a disconnected mode. As for your business service developers, they can use the EJB 3.0 designer to create entity, session, and message-driven beans from existing database objects, as well as new entities that will introduce corresponding business logic into the application. Note that all of these diagrams within JDeveloper can be shared among your team members via publishing in the selected file format. This also serves for documentation purposes, of course. JDeveloper also offers various designers such as the JSF designer for definition of navigation rules, task flows, behavior on your web UIs, as well as definitions of XML schemas through a designer for XML development. And as you can see here, you can work both in a design mode as well as in a source mode, or you can split the pane to work in both modes at the same time. Now we'll take a look at some of the coding features that are part of the application development lifecycle. Java developers can take advantage of advanced capabilities of JDeveloper's code editor. Search can be performed between the classes. You can highlight syntax. You have error highlighting as well as quick code selection. You also have out-of-the-box code templates that can lead to rapid application development. There are also quick fixes and suggestions provided by the editor, as well as code insight on methods and classes. Developers can also work with various coding options such as refactoring and source code management. For web UI developers, JDeveloper has a visual editor as well as a code editor for creation and addition of various web UI components. There is also a structure pane for navigation through the entire structure of the web UI, and new components can also be added directly to the structure pane. The property inspector is a declarative way of setting properties on components in the web UI. The editor also supports different languages such as JavaScript and XML, and offers code assist for both of these as well. Now that we've looked at the coding features provided by JDeveloper 11G as part of the application development lifecycle, we'll move on to debugging and testing. Debugging and testing features of Oracle JDeveloper 11G include the full support of frameworks for testing such as JUnit to create unit tests and management of testing criteria. So as you can see, I can easily create a JUnit test on my session EJB and validate it here. For debugging, JDeveloper offers functionality such as stack trace navigation. You also have smart filtering of debugging data, as well as remote debugging and web UI debugging for task flows, as well as navigation cases and expression language calculations. Now let's talk about analysis and tuning of your application. Analysis and tuning of applications is also available in Oracle JDeveloper through functionality such as CPU and memory profilers that allow for the identification of possible memory leaks inside your code and analysis of the overall performance of your application. In addition, you can also define audit rules and run audit reports on your classes to implement coding standards as well as identify areas that can affect performance, for example. Now I'd like to talk about the application lifecycle feature of deploying your application, but along with this I'd also like to talk about building your application using tools such as Ant or Maven. Ant is a build tool that can be utilized to create build scripts to build your application or scripts to run your JUnit tests. Likewise, Maven is another build tool that is integrated with JDeveloper, and this can be used to import Maven projects into your application. You can manage your goals, and then you can run these targets to build your application, for example. Using the Application Navigator, you can access project properties and define deployment profiles that correspond to the type of projects you're creating, such as AIR files for enterprise archives. You can also specify the deployment platform of choice to adjust some of the project configurations, such as the deployment descriptor. After having done all of this, you can create a connection to an application server, for example, and perform a one-click deployment to that server. Control versioning systems is supported in JDeveloper 11G for Subversion and CVS out of the box. This allows you to track down the history and changes of your code as well as automatic resolution conflict for your classes inside your application. The last application development lifecycle feature provided by Oracle JDeveloper 11G that I want to discuss is that of team collaboration. Oracle's Team Productivity Center is an application lifecycle management tool that enables software development teams to collaborate and work productively together when developing applications using JDeveloper, and it's also integrated with Oracle JDeveloper 11G. Oracle's Team Productivity Center allows for integration of application lifecycle management repositories. This includes Team Navigator, where you can query and update ALM artifacts. You can create relationships and tags between artifacts, link software configuration management files at check-in, review related continuous integration results, and maintain users and teams. You can also build dashboards for continuous integration builds and test results integration for Hudson Cruise Control. You can review results and assign to users, and you have dynamic notification of new builds. In addition, you can chat. You have collaboration with other developers on your team for within Oracle's JDeveloper 11G IDE. So, for more information on application lifecycle development and Team Productivity Center, go to Oracle's Technology Network at the URL you see here. You also have more tutorials, online demos, white papers, blogs, discussion forums to answer your questions, code samples, and much more. So thank you for your time.